And we have coming for you some amazing healers and doctors who are doing path-breaking work in this arena. Please join me in welcoming someone very special, Dr. Manveer Bhatia. This lady, I'll have you know, ladies and gentlemen, is India's first medical doctor, sleep scientist, specialist. She's received the award, which is called the Extraordinary Contribution in Sleep Medicine last year. Amazing. She's a neurologist of many years, was a practicing doctor at one of the most esteemed institutions in the country, AIIMS New Delhi. Welcoming you. From science to spirituality, please put your hands together for a revolutionary force as I call upon Pamela Kirkpatrick. A sound healer and the board of directors for finance coming all the way from USA. Sita Sangaram. Development trainer, wait for it, lifestyle consultant, motivational speaker, counselor, licensed practitioner of NLP. It goes on. I have so much more to say about her. Coming from Dubai, UAE, please welcome this beautiful bouquet of inspiration and femininity. If we can initiate this conversation on a note of science, I call on you, Dr. Manveer Bhatia, to please tell us all you know.
That's like a big task.
Yes.
5 minutes. That's a big task. So I was told by Mamta and Mansi to keep it short and sweet. So I thought 3 things to say. One, like everybody else has been doing, share a little bit of my personal journey, and then come to this topic called sleep, which is like a fascinating topic, which I'm still discovering and learning. So people do ask, where did I land up with this speciality? That's a very long story. So I was putting down some thoughts just last night, not too long ago, that what is this story of mine? And I said, should I start from my last achievements, go backwards, or from forwards to go backwards? I was a little confused. Then I made 2 sections. So one, I think my last achievement is that I have recently become a grandmother. So that's like a foremost in my mind is that I am a grandmother. So then I thought if I go down that line, I'm a grandmother, a mother, a wife, a daughter-in-law, a sister, and that was one side of it, a friend, a mentor, and the other side is a doctor, entrepreneur, author, because I did write the first, I had so many people asking me questions about sleep. So I thought, let's write a very simple book on sleep, which is called as A Sleep Solution, published about 3-4 years ago by Penguin. So those were the 2 categories. Now I said, if I start telling my story, Mamta will just pick me up and throw me out of the door. That, listen, we didn't ask for your story for so long. So I think I'll just give a brief glimpse. I thought, how do I put all this together and combine it with Shine and the WEF, etc. So I thought I would focus on the women who have been a source of support in my life. And I think to, let's say, make me be here where I am today. So that's why I said I will start with my mother. So people say, when did you want to become a doctor? Did you want to become a doctor? I really don't know. I think maybe it was her vision, and it got planted as a seed and probably grew as a tree. And that's where it was. So ever since I knew and ever since I was a child, it's always been that I would be a doctor. So that's how, and I think I give full credit to my mom to believing in it, to make sure that I did it, to be supporting behind me. And I think the second lady who came into my life is I went into a boarding school at the age of 9 or 10. We were in a small town in Uttar Pradesh, which was a very heavy burqa-clad place. My mom decided, whatever financial hardships, economic hardships, that she put me into a boarding school, which I again value a lot. So there, our principal was, I think, one of the best ladies that I have ever known. She taught me empathy, love for nature, compassion, humility, and above all, to live as a family. So as a boarding, and whoever has lived in a boarding, it's been an amazing journey. So I just fast forward and met my husband, who has been, like everybody agrees, that we would not be here without the support from the families. And then I think my DM, that was the last degree that we do in medicine, was one of the hardest, because by then I had 2 children, and it was tough. Means I thought that every single day I would drop out of the medical, of that journey and go home, because you don't seem to make anybody happy and not yourself happy. So there I found another support, another colleague who I think I keep telling her, she's in US now in Harvard, that I don't think I would have finished my degree if it was not for her presence. And of course then my mom-in-law was there by that time to help with the children. So I think that's how the journey went, that part, and that's where I am. Now coming to briefly to the second part, the topic that I was given was wealth, richness, and lifestyle. So I would request everybody to close their eyes for a moment. And if I say wealth and richness, how many people hear the sound of clink, 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 clinking, money dropping? Okay, hands going up. Lots of gold, lots of jewelry, big house, big cars. Not too many hands actually. So that's what wealth or richness means. Now I have a balance, a weighing scale. One side is all this that you have seen, but it's got some shackles, some chains, a big padlock. And the other side of the balance has a little bit of money, but it is like the peacocks who are roaming around. So would you choose the first one, hands up? Or would you choose the second one? Second one. So I think the message that I want to send out today, and while I was reading this, the topic itself is that our concept of wealth and richness is very narrow. So we need to broaden this up and talk about wealth as financial wealth, which is important. We have financial wealth consultants here, and we agree it is something. Time wealth is what I think is of the greatest importance. So I think the quote that I read was, wealth is the ability to fulfill what you desire. And I think that's what I feel that we should take back home, that that's the concept of wealth. But yes, for the wealth, you need time wealth, you have social wealth, and at the end of it all is physical wealth. So if you don't have the energy, the vitality, we will not enjoy anything. So there are about 10 definitions of wealth, but I thought the 4 ones were phenomenal, and that's what it is. I would also like to take a cue from Doctor that my 2 mottos in life now that I have after this thing of reaching this era of our life. One, I think I always look at my cup, which is half full, or maybe 3/4 full. I do not think that it is half empty. And that's what I think has to change in all of us, that gratitude and that we are where we are. And you know, I think when we see the amount of people that we see who could be in a worse place, I mean, there is no way. Every day, so I'm a neurologist, I see young people who I have to declare that I can't help you. I see women with sleep issues, which are as if I have taken their whole load on me. So I think that cup half full is in short, that's what I want to say. The second thing that I want to say is that we are in charge of our own self. So how does sleep come into this? I can hear the bell coming up. So I will end by saying, so how does sleep get into all this? As a base, as a foundation, as a third pillar of health, it's sleep. So we've had a lot of focus on nutrition. We've had focus on exercise and fitness. But all that I want you to remember is that if the sleep is not there, the 3-legged stool, it will break and collapse. So your wealth of health wealth, time wealth, physical wealth will not be able to stand on that table. So I do not have time. People who are interested can read that book. It's a very simple book telling you about the importance of sleep. All that I want to tie it up and say is that good sleep, adequate sleep, good quality sleep is essential for all aspects of health. Our mood, our energy, our sadness, happiness, desire to eat, blood pressure, diabetes, heart attacks, memory problems, creativity, productivity, attention. So how many people are happy with the amount of sleep they get? Or are happy with the amount of sleep they get? How many would be happier to get some more? Oh, see, so it is about 60%. Yeah, so thank you all for your attention. And I want to thank Dr. Harbeen, Mamta, for giving me this opportunity to share all these passions put together. So all I request is that each person become an ambassador for promoting good sleep. Thank you so much.
So you just passed on your job to us.
Yeah.
You trust us enough?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
And all I can say is that you really are an embodiment of everything you spoke, because we went to Rameshwaram together day before yesterday, and every time I looked at her, I wasn't always looking at you, but every time I looked at you, she had this beautiful, like, so deeply gratifying smile on her face. And when you spoke with her, she had this genuine interest to, like, hear every word, like hang on to every word that was being said. Did any of you experience that about, not just in Rameshwaram, outside of it, but really, I encourage you to find her. This is an amazing woman, an amazing doctor. I request Pamela to now take us on a journey of sound, of healing, through you, unto you.
So I have to start out by saying that I brought my own bell with me. And the interesting thing is, in 1969, in the Summer of Love, I went and visited a cousin in New York City, and they took me to Greenwich Village. It was quite the hot spot back then. And I bought this Indian cowbell. And a few years ago, when I got the message that I needed to do sound healing, and I didn't even know what it was, this bell reappeared in my life from all those years ago. I think I was 10 years old at the time, 10 or 11. And this bowl from Tibet was my very first singing bowl. My mother recently turned 92, bless her heart, and she's a survivor of the Holocaust. And she was a child in the Holocaust. And she taught my sister Robin and I that no matter the color of your skin, no matter your religion, no matter where you come from and what you believe in, we're all God's children. And so to add to what Leslie so eloquently said, we are all masculine, feminine, and I would like to include all sentient life, which includes all the animals and all the creatures known and unknown. So I'd like to take you on a little taste of a sound journey, and then I'll wrap it up at the end with a little gift that you'll take with you. I welcome you now with all the stories and the amazing things that we've heard today. You can either close your eyes or keep them open, whatever you wish, and I'm going to ring my own bell here. I invite you now to allow yourself to open to the sound on a cellular level, inhaling deeply and exhaling completely, inhaling peace and light and love, exhaling joy and laughter, radiant good health, kindness and compassion. I invite you now to bring your palms together and rub them quickly. like you're making an old-fashioned campfire with a stick. And I'd like you, when you've got some nice heat going in your hands, to cup them over your nose and mouth and picture your most favorite uplifting scent, the smell of a rose or sandalwood, and inhale it deeply through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And at the top of the next inhale, I invite you to bring your breath to the top of your head or your crown chakra. And picture this breath like a rainbow-colored beam of light. And we're going to send this breath arcing up and out, connecting with grandfather sky and grandmother moon, with the celestial stars that shine, with all that ever was, all that will be, and the miracles and wonders that are yet to unfold. Inhale deeply and exhale completely. And I invite you, as I begin to play the bowl and sing for you, to continue breathing in a circular breath. And imagine that your breath is creating a universe. The center of this universe is your precious open heart, like a beautiful lotus blossom, open and ready to receive. And as you breathe, you connect heaven and earth through your precious open heart. I am a creator God, divinity at birth, of the stars and of the seeds, a child of Mother Earth. From there to here and where you are, beneath the moon and shining stars, I am all right. I am peace and love and light. Sail on the wind, sail across the seas. Mother Earth is shining. Inhale your divinity. I love you, love you, love you so much. And slowly and gently begin to bring yourself back into your body, back into the room. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And if you haven't already done so, I invite you to gently let your eyes flutter open. And one might ask, what does this have to do with building wealth slowly and sleep? What I find, I go every Saturday to a drug rehabilitation center. And I do sound healing for people who are detoxing from drugs and alcohol, and also for the mentally ill. And when my husband passed away, my husband of 41 years, 2.5 years ago, the sound helped me. I used to listen to myself. I know that may sound a little narcissistic, but I didn't mean it that way. And it really helped me to ride the waves of my grief. And so all of us have times when We live in a world with a lot of noise. There's a lot of wow, 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 wow. And sometimes that noise can paralyze us. It can cause anxiety, especially when we have a big decision to make, when we can't sleep at night, when we're worried about something. So although I love my bells and my bowls and all my woo-woo metaphysical stuff that I use, I also love science. And I believe that the science of sound and light will be the healers of our future. And so I invite you, when we're done here today, there is a little card on the table outside at the registration where I've given you a gift of a song. Please feel free to take that. And remember that, hey, I brought my bell with me. That wherever you are in your life, wherever you are on your journey, as long as you're breathing, you're meditating, and as long as your heart is beating, you have an inner drum. So look within and find the solace that you seek when you have those challenges in life. And I just need to end. I'm going to ask you to please bring your hands together in prayer pose at the heart center. And look me or one of your neighbors in the eye and inhale deeply. I love you, love you, love you so much. Thank you.
I'm sorry. But the quality of your voice has such a profound antiquity. It wouldn't matter if you were singing gibberish. It would be transformative all the same. Thank you. We must have done something right to have you here with us. Speaking of gifts of the afternoon, please welcome the effervescent, eloquent, and ever so elegant Sita Sangaran. Coming all the way from Dubai, welcoming you. Really good.
All of you can hear me? I'd like to start by appreciating the lady who has just introduced me. I think all of us here I think all of the speakers here who have been privileged to be introduced by her have actually forgotten to tell that she has actually added so much of charm, vibrancy, and beauty to the conference. Don't you agree, Dr. Arora? Thank you. So, Vanakkam Madurai, and good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor. Thank you. And it's an honor and privilege for me to be here, and I'd like to thank Dr. Mamta and Dr. Arora, and of course the lovely WEF team. All of you are just amazing. Now I'm going to be a little naughty here. If my children were here, they wouldn't be surprised, but all of you don't know me well enough, so I might shock you. Okay, I'm going to ask you the question, although I've got principals here sitting behind me who knows how important sleep is. How many of you are like me, night owls? Okay, I can see some people who are just like me. But I'm trying to really work on that because I have someone at home who epitomizes the discipline in sleeping habits. That's my husband. He goes to bed around 9 and he's up at 3:30. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 3:30 he's up. So by the time I come to bed, it's almost time for him to be up. So I'm working on that because I understand that it makes me really tired. So what I will tell you is I can probably suggest some ways of getting a good night's sleep. How about that? Yeah. because I'd like to talk about some of my experiences here that has enabled me to sleep better. Okay. And I'd like to start talking about experiences. Rich experiences help us sleep better. You may ask, what experiences? Like, for example, traveling, trying different kinds of food, yeah, and meeting wonderful people. Everyone who is here, I have learned something from you, whomever I have been fortunate to come across and say hello. So I would say that actually enhances a lot in enabling us to sleep well. Another point, learning. For a student who never liked to learn and would run away from school and college if given a chance, I love learning. It's one of my passions today for the last 14 years. I'm currently doing my PhD. So that has also enabled me to enjoy the experience that I would be getting in a day to sleep better. And of course, unlearning as well, because I'm unlearning a lot of things I needed to unlearn thanks to my children. I've got 2 grown-up children who keep saying that's not the right thing to do. So I have to unlearn a few things too, but that helps me. The next one is personal achievement. Today morning we had a lovely lady who had talked about her achievement when she was 22. I think her name is Trina. Yeah. And I think when I think about personal achievement, there's just one project which actually gave me a lot of sleep at night because of the satisfaction. A few years ago, I had compiled a book for my parents. It was all about my memories, what I learned from them, and their philosophy of life. It took 5 months, and those 5 months, I can assure you, I slept like a baby. So the satisfaction matters. And ways of giving back. Today, Dr. Shankaran had talked about how important it is for us to support each other, enable all of us to grow together, to become better versions of what we are. And ways of giving back is one thing that enables me to sleep better. I'm a Gavel Club counselor. I don't know how many of you are Toastmasters here? Yeah? Okay, we do have a few. So I'm a Gavel Club counselor, and I enable, or rather help children become better communicators and leaders for the last 7 to 8 years. And that's helped me a lot, including mentoring. That's also enabled me to sleep better. Cultivate intellectual and emotional relationships. I've got a lot of friends, but there are a few friends that I would turn to when it comes to mentoring. For example, the book that I had compiled, I just called up a friend and I asked, hello, would you just mind looking through the book? She looked at my book and said, is this it? So I said, yeah, I think this should be okay. She said, you can't give this to your dad. I said, why not? Because there's nothing in it. So what really matters is you turn to people who are going to hit you right in the middle of the eye, but they have got your interests at heart. So I think cultivating such kind of relationships matter too. And genuinity. Today I don't see it. Besides, I'm not wearing my glasses. I shouldn't be admitting that to all of you. But there was a beautiful lady here. Her name was Kiran. And Kiran, are you here? No, I think she's escaped. Yes, Mrs. India. Yeah, it's a pity. I was going to say something nice about her. So it was nice if she was there. Yeah, I think I will, definitely. Now, Kiran talked about being you, being genuine. And I think that's so important. It's always better to just let people know who you are than pretend to be what you're not, or try to be like somebody else, because nobody can be you better than yourself. So that's one way of getting a good sleep. Curiosity. Have the childlike curiosity about the world, about learning about people. And sometimes people might think you're a bit silly. I remember my son, my 19-year-old son telling someone, we'd just gone to someone's home. And she said, you know, mom is sometimes she's rather cute. So I was wondering, oh my God, what is he going to talk about? And then he said, you know what he said, what she said? She said that, are there really dog translators, you know, that'll convert the barking of dogs into language? Now, I didn't think he would take it up seriously. I just casually asked him, But then he took it up seriously. That's okay. It's just part of being curious and having a childlike interest in the world. I'd like to put it that way than saying I'm silly. And acceptance, thank you. I'll make a note on that, please. Acceptance of the uncontrollable. Now, I had been through a crisis when I was 37. It was taking some time for me to get over it. It was a relationship crisis. And I realized that the best way to overcome is if I'm able to positively counsel myself. And that way I was also able to accept that some things are beyond control. And that makes a huge difference in sleeping well. Forgiveness, exercise and yoga and meditation, eating right, like Shukla had informed us, because I think it really makes a difference when you eat healthy. Generosity, loving yourself. Ladies, let me tell you, it's so important for you to love yourself as much as you love others. Please, you deserve to love. You deserve the respect that you show others to yourself. And, of course, gratitude. I'd like to mention Deepika Ahuja's session. Now, she's a lovely person, and like her, I believe in being grateful every day, every morning, and before I go to sleep. Thank you, God. And today, I would like to especially thank Deepika because she had gone to the temple today morning. And while I was sitting there, suddenly she brings some prasadam and says, "This is for you." And I thought that was so wonderful. Thank you, God. And I think it's been truly a privilege when you live in a world when you're thankful for every moment that you have. So basically, I'd like to mention here that success is not a function of the size of your title, but the richness of your contribution. So keeping in line with the theme of the conference, keep shining, and keep in mind to lead a life that'll be filled with the richness of enlightenment. And all of you, sleep tranquil. Thank you.
Nobody can be you better than you. Taking that away. Thank you so much. If I could also take this moment for us to recognize today as being the 75th day of when the tragedy of the Holocaust struck, and to speak of this experience, I'd like to invite Mira Levy from Shankaran University of Israel, College of Israel, to share an experience.
Hi. It just came from an insight suddenly when I sat here, and thank you, Pamela, for remembering the Holocaust. It is 75 years this week when I came to India that on the 22nd, it is the 75 years of the liberation of Auschwitz, the worst camp ever of human beings. My mother was a survivor of the Holocaust, of Auschwitz. She was there 2.5 years. She was born in Poland, so they were the first to go to camps. And people who learned how people survived the Holocaust, whereas others didn't. And they said that there was some kind of friendship. They called it Lagerschwester. It's in Yiddish, and in the English it's the sisters of the camp. And so it was enlightening to me to understand the power of sisterhood, about of friendship. People who took care of others survived, versus people who were just stressed and with themselves and didn't care for others didn't survive. So the message that you are prevailing here, just really deep in my roots of friendship, of sisterhood. So thank you for this opportunity to share and remember these great women and great people who survived the worst ever human experience. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mira. for sharing that, because in you is packaged history. And with you sharing that, we carry it in our hearts. So when we mourn, there's always a reason to also celebrate in the same breath. So this is in recognition of the masculinity and the femininity and the marriage of that at every moment. So thank you, Meera, for sharing that. I'd like to invite Harbeen and Meera to give away the awards. I'd like to call upon Dr. Manveer Bhatia to accept this award as an exceptional woman of excellence at the Women Economic Forum in Madurai. I'd like to call upon Pamela Kirkpatrick to accept this honor. For the journeys that you take people on all around the world, inner and outer. Sita Sagaran, please accept this honor as an exceptional woman of excellence at the Women Economic Forum in Madurai 2020.